just dumb as rocks. And I'm not sitting here saying that the Aborigines did this kind of artwork or that they knew anything about this, because the modern Aborigines today don't seem to have very much in the way of technology. These are Stone Age people. But boys and girls, we have Stone Age people while we're flying to the moon. Stone Age people live on every continent, except maybe for Europe and Antarctica. You know, we got Eskimos up in North America. We've got Aboriginal people that are living in the Amazon basin. We got Aborigines living in Australia. Nomads walking around in the Gobi Desert. I mean, you know, there's people all over the world that are still living in the Stone Age in New Guinea, for crying out loud. And now, down in Australia are these laser beam carvings. Laser beam carvings. Punchings of designs and symmetrical forms have been made 4 to 8 inches deep on rock faces 30 to 300 feet up in the air. Now, attempts to duplicate these engravings with modern tools failed. The rock would only chip or flake. Nothing but a laser beam could have left this impression in this rock. That's the claim of one scientist, with a footnote number 2. Not forgetting that in the United States of America, Apache Indians spoke of tunnels carved out by rays that destroyed the living rock. Apache Indians spoke of tunnels carved out by rays that destroy the rock. Now, that's art and artwork. Now, there's a lot of it, and I can cover much more of it here, but there are, looking at art here now for a second, there are 15 examples of art like this that have been discovered around the world. It's in Africa, China. You know, let me give you some places that this has been found. The Mayas in Guatemala. It's in British Honduras and Mexico. It's in Guyana, England, the USA, Chile, Afghanistan, Peru, Egypt, Germany, Russia, Australia, the Plateau of Peru, Easter Island, South America, England, France, the Onega River in Russia, Pakistan, Mesopotamia, the Persian Gulf, Brazil, Spain, France, in the Sahara Desert. Boys and girls, this kind of art, some of it, which has just been discovered in the last 50 years or less. And this one here that I just read to you, the rock can't be worked by hand. It has to be worked with lasers because it's too brittle and the rock just flakes off. Can't be polished except by laser. And yet there it is. Here's the artwork that's sitting up there. Now, we've only discovered lasers here in the last 50 years or so. When I was a kid, you know, I heard of Buck Rogers ray beams. And then later on we came up with a thing called laser beams. And now they're working with these lasers to use them, you know, in weaponry so they can kill people with them. You know, there isn't anything that we discover out here that we can't adapt to killing people with. All right, so there's the story on art. Let's back up here a little bit, or go ahead a little bit here. Take a look at medicine, maybe, on page 245. Health and medical. What happened after the car crash? Well, following a serious car accident in 1963, the victim's life was saved in a most unusual manner. For the delicate operation, Peruvian surgeon Francisco Grano used surgical instruments that had been exhumed from a 3,000-year-old tomb. They were manufactured from an alloy of gold, copper, and silver. Ancient medical practice, it appears, was more than just folk herbs. Rather, medicine and surgery were fantastically advanced millennia ago. A sophisticated medical science existed worldwide, and in some cases is only now being relearned by modern research. We shall never know anything, but can only wonder at the profusion of medical knowledge and skill that prevailed at the dawn of history. Now, the following are fragments of that knowledge. Now, you probably have heard or seen, I've read about this in Reader's Digest and others, where they have dug up skulls, especially in Peru and Ecuador, that had surgery done on the brain, in the cranium. They can tell that because if you bore into somebody's brain, then the body is living. If it heals over, then the guy survived the surgery. Many skulls have been unearthed that had holes drilled into the brain and the cranium and then healed over, indicating the brain surgery was successful. And of course, that's one of those mysteries that you publish or you see in some magazine or something. But it's by itself. It isn't put together like Chapter 24 is in Dead Men's Secrets, where there are 87 examples of this, and not just in Peru. It occurs in India, Egypt, China. It's mentioned in the Bible. In Bolivia, Peru, Britain, and again I'll find some different countries, Greece, Egypt, Crete, Australia, Samaria, Armenia, Guatemala, Peru, Pompeii, Italy, Jericho in Israel, Italy. Now, many of these examples are repeated, so I'm not repeating India, China. There's Mexico. All right, so it's worldwide. It's in China. It's in Egypt. It's in South America. And I don't see any here in North America. Here's Spain, Palestine, Assyria, Canary Islands. Skull operations. Here are skull operations that have been dug up and documented in Egypt, Peru, Soviet Armenia, Central Russia, Polynesia, Peru, Canary Islands, India, Bolivia, Samaria. Dentistry identified in Missouri in the USA 3,000 years ago. Egypt, Guatemala, Peru, Lebanon, Arizona, Italy. So we've got dentistry. We've got skull operations. What else have we got here? Surgical instruments have been dug up in Pompeii, Italy, Crete, Peru, Jericho in Israel, Italy, India, Egypt, Armenia, Guatemala. What else have we got? Surgical instruments. Health and medicine. A college of surgeons, a faculty of medicine, pharmacologists, specialist doctors, veterinarians. A state-sponsored medical aid program in which doctors received their remuneration from the government. Medical aid was free to all. This was found in Peru and Egypt, China, Alexandria, Egypt, Bolivia. Quarantine is revealed in the Bible. It is significant that the deadly European plagues of the Dark Ages were brought under control by the following of quarantine rules and other rules laid down in the biblical writings of the book of Leviticus. With medicine at such a low point during this period, Jewish doctors were highly esteemed. Has the thought crossed your mind that there might be something more behind this source of information than meets the eye? All right, so now we've covered art and medicine in this series. We have to take a break here because I'm just about out of time. And we'll come back and we'll take a look at more on geography, astronomy, cosmology, mathematics, metallurgy, large-scale and construction techniques. I covered those in earlier broadcasts. Engineering, mechanical devices. I think the next time we'll take a look at some of these mechanical devices and everyday items that have been dug up all over the world that we didn't have 100 years ago, but they had thousands of years ago. How did that happen? Next time on the Law Hour and Editorial Review. Meanwhile, you have been listening to the Law Hour and Editorial Review, sponsored by the Gordon Law School of Isabella, Missouri. Now remember, the Law Hour is heard 7 days a week here in the United States and worldwide over the Internet daily. For more information about the Law School and the Law Hour, please go to our website at georgegordon.org. Again, that's georgegordon.org. Now, the Law School conducts a homeschooling program for adults on compact disc. If you'd like more information, please go to our homeschooling page on our website at georgegordon.org. Now, the Law School offers a free 4-hour introductory CD package. Be sure to order yours by calling the Law School at 417-273-4967. Now, all of these Law Hour programs are archived on the Internet by title and date for your listening convenience, and the Law Hour is an educational service brought to you in the public interest. Time's up. We got to leave it right there. We'll see you back here tomorrow night, same time, same station, God willing, of course. So until then, thanks for listening, everybody, and good night, friends.